Hello there, it's another beautiful Saturday morning and I welcome you to this edition of Feminine Scope on OGBC 90.5 FM. This program enlightens and educates this generation on how to achieve great in life through the experiences shared with us by our numerous guests. Like they say, life will never be perfect. We just have to enjoy each moment and make the best of what we're given. That will be in the words of Max the Price. My name is Toyin Sogbesan. You're free to call me TS. Today, I have a beautiful and strong woman in the house. She is also ready to tell us about her experiences in life and as a woman in order to motivate this generation. My guest is Mrs. Ojuolape Arike Majek-Kazeem. She's an entrepreneur. It's nice to have you on this program this morning.
You're welcome, ma.
Thank you so much. So first things first, I always want to meet my guest. I want the listener to know who my guest is. So who is Ojuolape Arike Majek-Kazeem?
Ojuolape Arike Majek-Kazeem is a woman, a wife, a mother, and a grandmother.
Wow, you're a big mommy. So tell us about growing up. Your parents, the schools you attended.
Wow. That's a long one. I grew up with my maternal brother, whom I knew to be my father. That's my mother's first son. He was the one that brought me up because my mother had me when she was very, very old. I'm the last born in the family of 19.
Last born in the family of 19?
Yeah.
You are number 19?
Yeah. Polygamy.
Okay.
And that's why where I just put up in my mind that I will not marry into polygamy.
Your experience growing up, right?
Yeah, growing up.
Okay. So let's share some of them.
Growing up was very, very beautiful. We were, what do they call it? Get inside. Get inside. Lay flats.
Living inside the fence.
Yes, that's the way I grew up. We were not exposed to anything outside school, lesson, home. We were not allowed family gatherings. That's the way I grew up. So school was very okay. We were given a very soft landing going to school. I started my nursery and primary at the Endurance Nursery and Primary School, Maya Street, Yaba. Then I went to Auntie Ayo Guest Comprehensive, Ikoyi.
The popular Auntie Ayo?
Yes.
Okay.
Ikoyi. Then I went for my HSC at Igbobi College. I'm one of the first sets when they started the higher school certificates at Igbobi College. There and then, things went haywire. Where I grew up, because it's a polygamy house too. That's my brother who's supposed to be my father, because I knew him to be my father.
Because you're very young.
Yeah.
What number was he?
He was number 1.
Whereas you were number 19.
Yes,
from my mom.
From my mom. He's number 1. From my dad, he's number 5.
Okay.
So he too went into polygamy along the line. And then there was this thing that rings in my head nearly every time, that polygamy is not what I wanted at all.
What experiences did you go through?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to. The first wife is not educated, but the husband was able to build her up, trained the children, including me, because I knew her as my mom. It was later, in my later years, that I knew she was not my mom. Then, the second wife was an educationist. So when she came in, it was not something easy between the first wife and the second wife. The first wife is from Egba, the second wife is from Kogi. Then there was this loggerheads.
Rivalry?
Oh, God.
Wow.
It was hell. That it took my biological father to take us to Ososa to go and swear oath that nothing will happen to children.
Wow.
And they now made
it was that bad.
They now made me the center person. I must not side this, I must not side this. And it got worse. I had to leave home. I looked to leave Ebute Metta. Then I've known who my parents were. I never traveled from Ebute Metta to Mushin before, but on that fateful night, I took my bag and I left the house because my daddy.
What happened that night?
That's your
brother.
My daddy was not around. He normally traveled to Europe then, so he will leave us at home. Then when he comes back, I will be the person to relate what happened when he wasn't around. I couldn't deny my mom. That's the wife. And I couldn't say no to the second wife because that one treats us very well. Even the children she met at home, buys us chocolate and all these things.
So
take us to
her.
Amusement park. So we loved her. But this one is like the way she was brought up. There was a fight that I couldn't relate, and I left the house. I had to take a taxi from Ebute Metta to Mushin. Because when we are talking about kidnapping it does not start now.
Okay.
It has been there.
Bomo.
Oh, it has been there. Long time. I don't know where I was going. I boarded a taxi from Ebute Metta. I was going to Mushin. I knew when I get to Labinjo, that is Omolab Jebu, that's my parents' road. I know where to stop. This taxi driver took me off to Ojuolape, and I was crying, I was weeping. I was maybe 17 years then. Then it was my first time of leaving that house where I was brought up in Ebute Metta. But as God will have it, the man returned me back to my parents' house. My mother,
That night,
my mother sells food at Labinjo. She was like, Arike, where are you coming from this night? Where is your father? What happened? Where are you coming from? My father is an imam. So he was like at the back of the mosque. And my mother said, where are you coming from? What happened? I couldn't cry. I was very, very tired. So I just slept under the table of where my mommy was selling food until daybreak. And they took me to my father. Alaji, Ali anolari ọmọ yín o. Ààrẹ ẹ̀gbọ́n ẹ̀ o. Ààrẹ nìkankan. And it was like something must have happened. What happened? I couldn't explain. I was so terrified and tired. And my father said nobody should call Alaji. That's my mother's first son, my father. Nobody should call him. Nobody should message him that I'm here. Maybe if he can't find me,
he will come.
He will come. 3-4 days. Alaji did not come for me. My mother was worried. And it was like, what might have happened?
You were standing now.
That something must have happened that they did not look for me. On the night of the 5th day, my daddy came. And it was like, Elijah said, that's my mom said, Alabi, kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀, come now. Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀, jẹ́ ká gbọ́. He just drove, it's a 504. He drove off. Then I had a brother who is fourth born of my mom, Alaji Lukman. We were very close, very, very close. He was one that called me. Arike, kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀. And I narrated the story. Alaji said, Susu lo de, ti susu ba de, ká gbà pé susu ti dé nìyẹn. Lọ jókòó ẹ, a máa mọ nǹkan tá máa ṣe. A place that I don't know. The house, they don't have separate toilets.
You were used to luxury where you were coming from. And so, now you found yourself in
to go to toilet was like hell. Hey. To even sleep on my mom's bed was hell. And I was like confused.
You could not go back to where you were coming from.
I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back.
Okay.
So
invariably, because of time, because we still have a long way to go, invariably that was how you came to live with your
parents.
Your parents, your real parents.
Yes.
So what was life like in Mushin for you?
I couldn't stay long.
Okay. So what happened?
That's where I met my husband.
Oh.
This man that I am with now.
The man that you're married to now.
Because I was looking for an alternative where I can just leave that place.
That you will leave Mushin?
Yes.
Anywhere. But not Mushin?
Not Mushin.
So how old were you then when you met your husband?
I was 19 plus.
You were 19 plus?
And
19. You met your husband?
Yes.
Okay. He was not married when you met him?
He wasn't married. Okay. He's a friend to my other brother, the one that took me in. He was a friend. So my brother said, well, kí ló fẹ́ ṣe now? I said, I want to go to school. I want to go back to school. I've just finished school SATs, so I want to go further. And I was looking for Methodist Girls High School to do my HSC. They said I couldn't read economics there, that I have to get some subjects. So we now tried Igbobi College, and I was admitted to read my HSC there. And going to school, who is going to sponsor me? My mother is very old. My father is an imam. I don't have anyone to sponsor me except Alaji. Now I've left Alaji's place. Nobody's going to sponsor me. My brother said, well, you have your choice. You either stay and do something else, or you look for who is going to sponsor. Since you said you want to go to school. So it was a hell. I just managed. I had some money in my savings. I paid my initial school fees at Igbobi College. After my first year, going to second year, I couldn't continue. So I had to stop because there was no funding again. I had to stop. Then I met my man, my husband. I met him. And my brother was like, no, with the life we are living, that is this boy something.
He
you
knows
can't date.
The man.
Yes, you can't date my sister. You can't. They were looking at me like where I was coming from. So I'm not the mushy type. My brother was like, you can't do that. But me, what was in my head is
to get somewhere.
Want to leave that place. I just want to leave that place.
Not for love.
Not for what love?
What was love then?
What do I know about love?
Just an escapist.
I just want to leave. I just want to leave. I'm not comfortable with where I was then. So I just want to leave. Somebody would just come, move around here. The noise was so much. I wasn't brought up in such a setting. So I just wanted to leave. Then this man, my husband, called me. He said, me, I don't have much, but I can always take you in. Where do you live? He said he lives just 3-4 buildings from my parents' house.
What's the difference?
So because of me, he went to get an accommodation at Ladipo.
Okay.
He's
still Mushin.
He's still Mushin, but he's a flat to say. He got the place, 3-story building.
Like barrack.
Civilian barrack. I was not comfortable too. Then we got pregnant.
How many of you?
Myself and himself.
We got pregnant.
We got pregnant, which was not what we wanted.
How will you say which was not what you wanted? When the two of you were sleeping together, you were not envisaging that pregnancy may come? Or you were just catching cruise?
Those children that were brought up, not exposed, nobody taught them that if you meet with a man, you could get pregnant. But my biological mother taught me that if a man
touch you, don't let them touch you.
If a man stands up from a chair and you sit down on that chair, you'll get pregnant.
That was the training there.
So that was the way I grew up. But along the line, he's a very decent man. He took me to his father. And the father said, Omole Boni. Said, something like that. They came, they did what they could do, and we got...
Who hosted them? Your brother or your biological?
My brother.
Okay.
My father refused to host them because they are Christians and we are Muslims.
Muslims, I see. And your father was an imam?
Imam, Kiriyo Lofe, so Kiriyo would not... So it was my brother.
Okay.
So we got along.
But all the while you were living with the man, was your biological mom not bothered that you left home for another to stay with a man?
My mother used to be a very caring mother. She longs for me, she looks for me nearly every week to know how you are coping. She'll bring in food stuff.
In the man's house, because he was not yet your husband.
Yes, she would untie a knot here, give me money, so that I don't go asking money from my people. And they know that I'm a very heady person. When I say no, it is no. When I say this thing I will not do, I don't care, I will not do. So that's how we got along. And we had our first 2 kids in Lagos. Then we moved to Abeokuta in 1986. And he's a civil servant. And God helped us. We had another 2 when we got to Abeokuta. We have been able to manage.
To the glory of God.
Yeah.
Did you stop at HSC, or did the man send you back to school?
No, he never sent me back to school.
Okay, so what were you doing in his house? Full-time housewife, or you had business running, or what were you doing really in those years that the 2 of you were together?
I couldn't have stayed as a full-time housewife.
Okay, so what were you doing?
I was picking businesses to do, doing this because I don't know how to ask. I wasn't brought up to ask, so I don't know how to ask my husband. Oh, uncle. I don't know how to ask. So I was like doing all sorts of business that comes my way. Anything that comes my way, I will sell. Anything that comes, I sell, just to make ends meet.
You were assisting him.
Yeah.
My guest on this program, Feminist Scope on OGBC 90.5 FM, is Mrs. Ojuolape Arike Majek-Kazeem. She's an entrepreneur. Now that you moved to Abeokuta fully, what has life been like moving away from Lagos to Abeokuta, even though you've been here since 1986, like you said? So what's the difference? What marks the difference between here and Lagos?
Abeokuta, Lagos, there are two different things to me. I cannot see myself living in Lagos the way I am now. And Abeokuta, let me say I spent half of my life in Abeokuta. I'm 61 plus. Wow. I got to Abeokuta in my late 30s. So Abeokuta has been a home that what was not even applicable or achievable in my own mind in Abeokuta, it was very, very easy. I achieved it. Like training my kids while my husband wasn't around, on transfers, staying with my kids when the road was so rough. I just decided I had to get these children trained. All my siblings, my brothers and sisters, we normally have this competition of good children, training their children.
Upbringing of your children.
So my children should never be an exception. I have siblings who refuse to train their children. But me, I just know I want to look at the positive side of the family, not its negative side. So I was like, I want to see that my children, came out well. So in Abeokuta, I had it so very, very rough, very, very good, and very, very easy. But to the glory of God today, I can say, thank God.
You are still running your business?
As per my business that brought me up in the last 3-4 years, is put to a stop to outsiders, to the public. Okay. But this is what I know how to do best. Okay. So I'm still trying to pick it from where it stopped. Okay. Now.
And God will help you.
Amen.
It is well. I want your words of advice for this generation, the younger ones. You didn't find it easy at all.
At all.
And you made up your mind that you must at least get somewhere.
I stayed.
You left home. You learned a big lesson.
God.
But that did not deter you. Here you are today. It doesn't even reflect that you didn't go to higher institution. Because the way you even speak, the way you come out, the way you think, because I've had to interact with you off mic, and I know that you're someone that is highly cerebral. You are very knowledgeable in what you do. So I want your advice for them.
So our youths, which has been my priority and my passion, I'm just trying to see how I can penetrate them. Because we that did not do celebrity wedding, we were able to hold up a home. Last month was 43rd year. I've been married to just one man.
And the same man married to only you?
Yes, ma'am.
So you eventually succeeded in no polygamy for you?
Power of tongue.
Power of the tongue.
Power of the tongue.
You shall have what you say.
It applies to me in every area of my life. So I don't use my mouth or my tongue carelessly. For me to have a building is power of the tongue. For me to see my children out, go to school and graduate, serve, power of the tongue. For me to see people wear lace, 150, coffin journal and all these things, it was power of the tongue. I'm not promulgating religion because it has turned to another thing. But for our youth, must have this word perseverance, determination. We must be focused. To get where we want to be is just a matter of steps. When you are focused. When you are focused, you get there in no time. Our youth, they need to persevere. Look beyond the now. Our youth should be able to see beyond the now. Yes, it's not been easy, but we just have to see beyond what we are seeing now. Nigeria is going to be good.
Amen.
Oh no. Nigeria is going to be good.
Amen.
I used to tell people, no matter how you see it, I'm not seeing it that way. Nigeria is going to be good.
Amen. I believe you too. So, do you party at all?
Party?
Mrs.
I'm not a
Ojuolape?
social person. No. If you see me party, probably my family, my in-laws, or let me say my in-laws, even my family.
So you are not doing Ashwebi and all this? You don't do Ashwebi? You don't look it. You look like somebody who loves party to me.
Party?
Yes. But do you listen to music?
I love music.
Okay. What type of music do you listen to?
I love gospel song.
Wow.
Yes.
Who's your favorite artist out of them all?
Ayefele.
Ayefele. Why? Because of the alujo?
Not alujo.
Then what?
Because of where he was coming from.
Okay.
And how he projected. He projected. I can see it from his beginning when he was with this Kola Olawiyi. Okay. He projected that he would be somewhere someday. And someday he is somewhere. So I love. Wọ́n jàjẹ́ yo. In fact, his music used to intoxicate me.
Yeah.
And my husband knows it.
So which track do you like? Can you sing any?
I'm not a good singer.
Don't worry, I'll back you up. I'll be your backup.
I love this one. Olúwa mọ bí tí mò ń lọ, something like that. I don't know.
This is Arike Ojuolape. I don't know that one. At any rate, let's see. We'll play you any of very beautiful ones from Ayefele.
I love Ayefele. I love Ayefele.
Ọlọ́run àgbáyé ṣe bí wọ́n ní ògo yẹ, ọba àwọn ọba ṣe bí wọ́n ní ògo yẹ. Ní gbogbo àgbáyé o kò sẹ́ni bí rẹ, ní gbogbo àgbáyé o kò sẹ́dá bí rẹ. Awesome God, you are worthy of my praises. King of kings, you are worthy of my praises. In all the generation, no one else like you. In all the generation, no one else like you. Ìwọ ló yẹ, ìwọ ló yẹ, ìwọ ló yẹ láti gba ògo. Ìwọ ló yẹ bàbá, ìwọ ló yẹ, ìwọ ló yẹ láti gba ògo. Ọba ayérayé o. Ìwọ ni ògo yẹ, Ọlọ́run tó dára jù. Ìwọ ni ògo yẹ, ọba àwọn ọba. Oníwọ ni gbogbo àgbáyé.
Thank you so much for being on this program today.
You're welcome.
And how is daddy?
My daddy
Your
is
husband?
fine. My husband is fine.
Not your own daddy.
My
Our own
daddy.
daddy, but your husband.
Yes, my husband is fine. He's fine.
Okay. He's in Abeokuta.
Yeah.
Is he still in service?
No, he retired some years back.
Oh, great. It is well with you. So this is how far we'll go on today's edition of Feminist Scope on OGBC 90.5 FM. I thank my guest, Mrs. Ojuolape Arike Majek-Kazeem again. She is an entrepreneur. And I thank my producer, Temilade Tijani, assisted by Fumilayo Akintoye. My studio manager is Bukola Olatunji. And my ICT man is Francis Enriosho. My name is Toyin Sogbesan, TS you call me. Till next week, when we bring you another strong woman, do enjoy the rest of your weekend. Good morning.